the fillers and the binders and everything else. Why do these companies still use it, knowing that it's not as good as doing it in this manner?
It's it's very funny, and I encounter this in every industry. And I love, you know, I'm a student of everything. I'm even a student of business, and I love reading things in almost any business. And we've actually been looking at making some household products. The reason I've looked at making household products is even the ecologically friendly ones, they're not as ecologically friendly as you think. And part of the reason why is everyone does things the way it's always been done. For me, and maybe it's just my nature, I don't want to do things the way it's always been done. I want to do things better. I mean, that's my goal, is objectively to look at what I need to create and make it as best as possible. And unfortunately, when it comes to cranberry or even calcium or things like that, we generally see products that are not all that different than products that existed, and I'm not that young anymore, when I was a little child. I mean, you look at the daily multivitamins, the once daily multivitamins, we'll talk about my Essential One in a little while, but they haven't changed much in half a century. I mean, it's just absolutely remarkable, incredible. Even calcium products haven't changed much. Mine has. Whether it's the forms of calcium we use, the granulation that we use, the fact that we add vitamin D to the product as well. You should still take your separate vitamin D, but we make sure that you get a little bit of vitamin D with your calcium just because it's critically important to absorption. And also, when I talk about calcium, in a moment you'll see me talk about vitamin K2, MK7, because if you supplement calcium, you should be supplementing vitamin K2, MK7. Calcium, vitamin D, and vitamin K2, MK7, it's all part of how your body manages calcium. It needs to be absorbed. It's critical for our bones, but we don't want too high levels of it in other systems. So vitamin K2, MK7 is the police officer in our body that ensures that calcium goes and stays where it's supposed to and doesn't go where and stay where it's not supposed to. So I guess for me, the way things have always been done, again, going back to science, unless someone could show me scientific proof, because that is the way it must be done, I'm going to find a way that's consistent with benefits, consistent with the science, and consistent with wellness and health. That is my sole goal. I don't listen to what anybody else tells me unless they could tell me why. As I said with science, it's one thing to observe something. Right. It's a whole nother thing to now understand why that's the way we should do it, how and why.
And that's one of the big things that we're going to be able to tackle tonight, is to show you, the reason why this is going to be a great product to enhance your lifestyle. I know there's only about 60 seconds left, but Andrew, for a lot of us out there that are struggling with aches and pains, there is a real helpful solution out there, and it comes in this form.
Well, usually aches and pains, I was just explaining this to my mom, aches and pains are generally not related to your bones per se. More often than not, aches and pains are related to our joints.
Right.
And we'll talk about a little later when we talk about glucosamine and chondroitin, or we talk about marine collagen peptides. In terms of our bones, one of the most pernicious things about osteopenia and osteoporosis, the most pernicious thing of all, is that unless you get a bone scan, you don't know. If we did actually feel it and know it and can see it, it would be much easier for your doctor to work with you to treat it. So in terms of calcium, I'm someone who tends to be on the more conservative side of supplementing calcium. You should never take more than 500 milligrams at one time, because more than that won't be well absorbed. And you should follow your doctor's instructions, but I'm not one of those folks who say you should need to take 1,500 or 2,000 milligrams a day. I'd rather see people more in the range of 500 milligrams up to maybe 1,000. Make sure they're getting adequate vitamin D, but most importantly, make sure with that they have their vitamin K2, MK7, which hopefully we have the vitamin K2, MK7 maybe on the bottom of the screen while we're talking about the CalMag. So, and again, our calcium, the biggest problem with calcium products out there is how unpleasant they are to take, that they're difficult to swallow, they're enormous tablets, they're usually in the least soluble form, so they're not going to be well absorbed and well tolerated. Ours, we make sure, are super soluble, an ultrafine granulation in an ultra soluble capsule with a little bit of vitamin D, as I said before. And then, of course, vitamin K2, MK7 is a very, very important investment in our good health in terms of how our body metabolizes and uses calcium. Because when I started initially, I talked about how everything has its proper level. Too high, not good. Too low, not good. But proper level is what we need. We can't get away without having it somewhere in that normal, healthy range. Same goes for calcium. we need to make sure that we have the proper amount of calcium. We need to make sure it goes where it's supposed to go, because without it, we have issues with our bones and skeleton. And we need to make sure that it's not going where it shouldn't go, because we don't want calcium contributing to, say, calcification of our arteries or blood vessels in our body.
So the vitamin K2 also is available as